Little ASMR going on. Canadian ASMR is just like, that's Canadian ASMR.
It's spelled different. You know how you're talking about color was OU? Well, ASMR is spelled EHSMR.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right. We got some people chiming in on the chat. Bergs, I feel like I've done this question before, but the answer is not really. Oh, we've done this. Did we do this question before? I don't know.
Everyone has done this question before, Rosario.
Everyone has done this question before.
But I'm okay with it. We haven't talked about it in a while. I'm all right with it.
Well, it makes sense today because two of the guys on the panel today have launched books that are within the superhero genre or the superhero Black Ops style genre. So yeah, bad story fatigue and continuity fatigue are real though. Yes, they are, brother. And Jerry, what's up, Jerry? Yes. All right. Yeah, that brings us to the question. I'm sorry, guys. Let's get to it before we're an hour and a half in. If people start to complain on the comments. But do you guys feel superhero fatigue is real or not?
I can tell you what's real: flooding. It's flooding the shelves, flooding the movie theaters. Flooding is the problem. Because so let's do it from two parts. So let's do it as a kind of like the comic book side and the movie side. So with the comic books, walk into a comic shop and the majority of the books you're going to see on those shelves are superhero books. Superhero books, then maybe horror, then sci-fi, then other romance books, whatever. So the problem is that you're putting out books without a reason for putting out books. Like Spider-Man doesn't need 6 books. X-Men don't need 6 books. Put out the book because there's a story to tell, not because you need to fill quota. Because that's what they're doing. They're filling quotas.
It's been for decades. Everything has been market share. Who has market share? Marvel, DC, Marvel, DC, Marvel, DC, Marvel, DC. That's why we would get this glut of stuff back in the day of just, they're just trying to maintain market share while fighting amongst themselves while simultaneously pushing out space for the other publishers. So if they put out 100 books a month, they know the stores are going to buy them, pushing out Valiant, pushing out Aspen, pushing out whoever else. So that's been a mentality for decades.
Right. But if they kind of throttle back on it, then the sales would increase. Now you're looking at more quality over just the quantity of this guy needs a book, that guy needs a book. Make a book about this person. Make it look like nobody wants any of that.
I'm gonna agree and disagree with you at the same time. There's a couple of reasons. One, I do agree that the flooding is a problem. It's a problem with comics. It's a problem with movies. Too much of it. As they say in the saying that less is more, and so on and so on and so on. In the comic book world, though, there's Marvel and DC actively do what they do for the purpose of market share and to push out as much small press as they possibly can. But to say that superhero fatigue is real and that putting out these books doesn't work doesn't explain Ultimate Universe, doesn't explain Absolute Universe that's going batshit bonkers. So I think there's more what did we call it? Fatigue. I think there's more fatigue in like the movie and sort of pop culture world in that regard than there is in comics. But I think that there's 2 reasons for the fatigue, and they're both wildly different. One is sort of similar to what we talked about with the comics right here, though. One is that almost all of it has always been this idea of do a few movies, reboot, do a few movies, reboot, do a few movies, reboot. And so you get sort of odd consistencies through that. And particularly if you're doing the reboots like within like 5 years, because people are used to, let's just say they're used to the Nolan Batman, and then like 5 years later we get Snyder Batman, right? And it's completely different. So people get used to. I like Henry Cavill. I like. I'm going the wrong way. They get used to. I like Christian Bale. I like Christian Bale. I like Christian Bale. I like Christian Bale. Nope, Christian Bale's gone. Now it's Ben Affleck. And you have to get used to that, whether you like it or not, and so on and so on. And then that craps out. sort of critically craps out. It did make money, but it's kind of critically craps out. And then just a few years later, you're like into a new super universe with the Gunverse. So I think that the reboots in the larger sense of pop culture, I think the reboots of this stuff hurt. That's why Marvel succeeded, because they had a 10-year plus run of just everything worked, and everything worked for a purpose, and they weren't having to recast too many people. There were a few along the way, but not too many. And they had this race to, Infinity War and Endgame, and it all worked. And then this is the other side of the fatigue, I think. Everybody was so amped and pumped all the way through Endgame that and this is part of this is also COVID. Endgame happened, COVID happened, shit went crazy, right? Yeah. So this is part of the reason. But after Endgame, everything sort of cracked apart, because all of a sudden it was like, well, you're not getting any of that anymore. Now you're going to get Eternals and Marvels and Shang-Chi and weird TV shows like Moon Knight and all this like sort of secondary stuff. Yeah, we had a Doctor Strange movie in there and things like that. Those were still successful. But again, you sort of got a universal reboot in a way where everything that you knew went away, and they were like, yeah, but we got all of these other guys. You should like all these other guys. And a lot of it has been largely just sort of, we don't care. There's a few exceptions, obviously. But for the most part, nobody cares about Moon Knight. Nobody cares about Eternals. Nobody cares about Shang-Chi anymore. Like, regardless of what you think of the movies, they weren't critical successes. They weren't monetary successes. And people now are, and then what happens? You freaking throw Deadpool and Wolverine together, $1 billion. You throw all the Spider-Men together, $1 billion, right? And so now they're like, well, it's doomsday time. Let's put everybody in there and make $1 billion again, right? So the fatigue is not, to me, is not true fatigue. It is just simply we want what we want, and we don't want what we don't want. And if you keep trying to push what we don't want, Moon Knight, etc., it's gonna appear as if it's fatigue, because we're getting things that are like, I don't want Ironheart, and I don't want She-Hulk, and I don't want any of this. I want Robert Downey Jr. I want Chris Evans. I want this stuff. Problem is, you can't have them forever, guys.
Right.
That's a big problem with the movies, is you can't have those guys forever unless we start doing, deep fake stuff down the road. Yeah. So it's a problem for the movies. It really is a problem. And I'll be curious to see how they try and solve that problem with, Doomsday and Secret Wars. But I think there's kind of two levels of fatigue, but I don't think there's true fatigue. I don't think there's people going, I don't want Batman. Yeah. I don't want Superman. I don't want Wonder Woman. Those are the keys, right? We don't want Plastic Man. We don't want, we don't want this weird shit. Everybody's sort of keyed in on.
I think that's what DC is going to find out with a lot of the stuff they're releasing. Like, nobody seems like they're interested in a Supergirl movie. And how is Clayface going to do? So now you might end up 1 for 3 in movies going into another Superman movie where people are like, I think I'm done with Superman now. So with that, they've got no wiggle room, and you've got no Batman ready to go besides Batman 2, and that's like 2 years out.
Yeah. And in that situation, they also have Paramount about to buy this stuff. And when Paramount comes in, they're going to look at it from a numbers standpoint and go, this is working or this is not working. And if it's not working, that gun stuff will be wiped away, and we'll get another reboot of this crap, which is not going to help anybody.
Ray, let me ask you this question, buddy. Let me start with you with this question. Excuse me. The guys are saying all of this stuff. That's great, right? I feel a counter to this is something like Invincible. Not only is the show doing well on Amazon, right? The back stock is moving on Amazon, and it was just announced. Not only did they bring Battle Beast up, right, and it's on I think issue 10 right now, with a small little break in between there, but it was just announced that the Invincible series is coming back. So with what the guy said and what I'm bringing to the table, where do you sit on this?
I have a lot to say. Apparently, I opened up Notepad, started typing in notes. Okay, so first thing here is to summarize everything that Marvin and Tom were just talking about in regards to the movie aspect. I can summarize that in 2 words. The first one is betrayal, and the second one is mistrust. And I'll give you a Canadian perspective, because the comic industry is very, very, very much USA fundamentally in many ways. Not that it only is, but it's been a trailblazer in that respect. As soon as Endgame finished, there was a big overhaul. And the overhaul, regardless of people's political views, everything became political. And people didn't want to buy into that. And I feel many people were betrayed because of everything that was awesome leading up to including Endgame. And then, okay, there's these, I understand taking a chance on B-list characters. Guardians of the Galaxy is a great example why that's justified. Eventually, I see a lot of people just throwing their hands up in the air, and I see a lot of skeptics, a lot of people that are cynical over this Doomsday and Secret Wars. Well, this is, you only did it because we walked away. If we didn't walk away, you would have never done this. So that I think is a big hot topic that many comic book companies are trying to ignore and pretend they never did it, as opposed to, hey, let's change this around. They're just like, well, we'll change something different, but we'll just put our horse blinders on to what's been going on in the last handful of years. And then you brought up Invincible. Well, Invincible is like the equivalent of having a brand new significant other after going through years of baggage with another one. So Invincible is fresh on the scene in regards to non-comic media. The cartoon, I think a lot of people are like, this is a breath of fresh air. That's how I feel about it. I never read Invincible, and now I'm like a huge fan, and I just enjoy it without having any expectation. I don't feel like I'm being cudgeled with any messages. It feels like watching the MCU, but on the smaller screen, and I just appreciate it for what it is. I don't feel like there's any baggage that comes along with it, et cetera, et cetera.
All right.
I mean, but one thing about the Avengers thing is that the missing piece in that is one actor who played Kang. So we were on a path, and this guy decided he wanted to run from his girlfriend down the street. So that kind of monkey wrenched the whole entire plan. So you had to kind of like reset and say, okay, what are we going to do here? Because we can't do Kang. What do we do? We do Doom. All right. So who do we get to play Doom? Has to be somebody big. Bring Johnny Jr. back, because there's no one bigger than that guy.
And that's a very good point. I think that's definitely a contributing variable. There have been many times in the past, I should say a handful of times, the replacement of Rhodes, for example, for similar dynamics. But obviously the Kang dynamic was of a larger scale. But it is a good point.
Marvin, getting back to you for a second. You're always big on building the brand and expanding with all the other accessory items. Mm-hmm. Going back to Invincible, I mean, the guy just kicked off a video game.
Yeah.
And it's kicking ass right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this was a property that he had to pay extra money into to keep it alive. Right? Yeah. He was losing money while it was being published. And now he's reaping the benefits. Right. So is this something where you got to ride the wave? Is this ebbs and flows? Is it cyclical? Or is it?
You also got to remember with Kirkman, he had The Walking Dead in his back pocket before Invincible became anything.
Right, but he started Invincible before Walking Dead.
Oh, I understand. Like 2 months. I understand. But as far as turning something into something else, he had Walking Dead. It wasn't like he came in without Walking Dead and somebody pitched, and he pitched Invincible and he got it. They saw
he had that Walking Dead money.
Yeah, he had Walking Dead money. He had the clout of
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So I mean, but you go backwards and you think about like the Battle Pope. Like Battle Pope went nowhere.
Right.
So it was that invention of the Walking Dead which gave him the kicker. But like Ray was saying, is that Invincible was fresh, but at the same time, it's not fresh, because all it is a kind of a shell over things that existed before it, because everything on that show is based on Marvel DC characters. But like if you take a different coat and you scrub over it and you say now it's something different, but the one thing that always got me on Invincible is that the character gets his butt kicked continuously.
Yeah.
And like, dude, do you get any stronger or better at what you do? Because you're just getting your ass handed to you every time you get into a fight. It doesn't matter who he's in a fight with.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
but I would say this in its defense. That's what it needed to be.
Yeah.
Because everyone else, when they fight somebody, they beat the Joker, they beat the Penguin, they beat Catwoman, they beat whatever, and they're like, maybe they're a little bruised up, right? Like, oh yeah, but like here's a guy who's literally getting
that lore for the powers. That's the thing.
Right.
Yeah, you know, he got. In fact, that's what one of the things Kirkman said is, I wanted to make in his thought process of how do I make a superhero book that's different than Marvel or DC.
Mm-hmm.
It was the let's take the violence to another level.
Yeah.
Across the board, just across the board.
Agreed.
And which he did. And it here's the thing though, even when it was publishing at its peak, it was selling about 17,000 units at its peak, nowhere near Walking Dead numbers. So even with that violence happening, it wasn't like it was some smash success. Invincible became something else when it became something else. It became TV, it became viable to the general public. You know, those of us that were reading it already were already reading it. We were fine. But it needed to be something else. But listen, we'd all sell 16,000 units. We'll take that any day of the week, right?
It's heartbeat, bro.
Happily say 16,000 units. Not a problem at all. But yeah, but it was a little bit different from what Marvel and DC did in a tonal aspect. Like you said, it is definitely skinning characters. Like this guy's Superman and this guy's the Vulture and whatever. It's just skins for sure. But I'll take it to the next step and pimp myself. I can tell you right now that the Critterverse is reaching different levels of notoriety. Not like Invincible at all, but I had somebody, one of my artists at HeroesCon, and I'm desperate to find a picture. It has to be out there. Somebody here, one of my artists at HeroesCon, he messaged me. He was like, "Yo, there is a girl here that's dressed as Critter." I was not at HeroesCon. It wasn't like there was a Big Dog Ink booth that she came to see.
Oh man,
like she was just Critter in the wild, right? And he didn't even catch it until his friend pointed it out because his friend is a Critter fan, and he was like,
that's the runner down moment. Get a picture.
I know, right? 100%. So between that and what I'm seeing at comic stores with this book at AP, it's a third printing. It's reaching a completely different audience after 15 years. It's like every 5 years it gets like a new audience. It's really bizarre, but it's working and it's growing. And I have people I had a guy on eBay buy some stuff for me the other day. And he was asking me some kind of question about, I was like, listen, I got all the answers. I'm Tom. Ask me your questions. He messaged me back. He's like, "You're Tom Hutchison? You're famous." And I was like, no, but that was his message, right? Like, so there's definitely like fan appreciation for us out there. And whether, regardless of what book it is, but with Critter, I have absolutely started to see the love of the character growing through this completely new audience.
I like that.
And that's superheroes, right? It's completely superheroes. So I don't think that superhero fatigue is necessarily the right term so much as reboot retcon fatigue, maybe, and you know, something along those lines. Like it's the same character, but again, with Absolute Batman, right? You can't say that it's Batman fatigue, because they're selling Batman books like a bajillion copies. Now, that's a hyper collector market too. That is not 400,000 readers are buying that book, right? You know what I mean? It's a collector market, but they did something to make that relevant. And there's a trickle down effect now to Green Arrow and, you know, all these other books that they're doing, the Flash and whatever. So the Absolute Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman created that top of the pyramid that has now infected all of DC, and it's every time they're like, "Oh, it's Absolute Zatanna," people are freaking out. Let's go see what that is. So there's ways to do it. There's ways to work around it, but they just may not be the ways that us classic guys appreciate.
You touched on a bunch of things I want to get to, but before I get to that, I want to hit the chat up for a second. Larry comes back with short, explains Absolute Batman. These people are buying blind bags, ratio variants they will never read. Batman is not selling because people are wrapped up in the story. It's about the flip, baby. And once that bubble bursts, it's over. Okay.
That new issue, what is it? Issue 12 has what, 27 covers or something like that?
The one with Two-Face?
Yeah.
Dude, I was in 3 different stores, and each store, that was their pick of the week. So I picked it up. I haven't read it, but I'll get back to that. Glenda Taina, is streaming service also fatigue? Why should we go to the movies if it will stream soon?
Yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah.
Right. That's what Masters of the Universe is feeling, because it's going to be streaming fast and people knew to wait it out. All right. Burks comes back with, are you kidding me? Plastic Man will kill. Burks is all about it. Listen, I remember the cartoon, Burks. I was with it. So bottom line is, we all need a cartoon for shit to get the W.
Yes.
Sometimes I got to agree with that, Larry. I really do. Sometimes
you have to cross the barrier.
Yeah.
It changes the game. It's no different. It's no different than if I were to just go work and write Spider-Man. It would change the game for me.
There's a lower financial barrier of entry to a cartoon that's streaming than to pick up a book for $5. I get it. Burke says the game is freaking bonkers too. He's talking about the Invincible game. Got to have money to make money. Damn right you do. Bottom line is, your comic, superhero or not, has to have that X factor. And there's no definition to what the X factor is. The Rock in WWE has the X factor. It's just something that pulls people in for whatever reason, standing out above the rest. Yes.
But if you remember, The Rock didn't have that X factor at first.
He had to figure it out.
Correct. Rocky Maivia didn't have it.
Away from the hard camera.
Rocky sucks.
The flown pineapple hair didn't work. Right? I know. Start hacking the security cams. Damn right, baby.
So what we're saying is, there was Rocky Maivia, and then there was absolute Rocky Maivia. Absolute one.
Oh, baby. There you go. Yes. Ben, I've shifted to TikTok to try something new, and I swear there's no superhero fatigue, because I'm seeing a ton of new readers all thrilled about the books they're buying, and so many of them are superhero. I think the trick is to find those people, the new audience, and there's a huge new audience anecdotally. Way to be. Thanks for chiming in, Ben.
Book talk is a thing. Just letting you guys know, it is a thing.
Fred, oh shit, how did I miss this topic? Superheroes are like Westerns. They become very paint by number. But when you get a story that uses the genre to tackle deeper topics, you can get great work like Unforgiven, High Noon, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, and Fisticuffs. Thank you, Fred. I hope Fisticuffs did well for you, brother.
I think in that instance, you're going to find out, because they're rebooting Westworld again. So let's see.
Again?
Let's see.
Again. Yeah,
as a movie.
I was able to do 2 seasons of the series. They went off, in my opinion, the deep end. All right. Tom, you brought up 17,000 copies at his best with Invincible. We'd all kill for 17,000
And let me say this. Let me add to this, because this actually is an important point. He was doing it largely without variants.
Yes,
he would occasionally have some variants, but it wasn't like he was doing 10, 12 variants per every issue.
Right. But at 17,000 copies, with our take, we know about these numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. He's looking at about maybe $1.80, right? After everything. That's his gross. Let's give an average in there. All right. And at $1.80 of cover price from what he's receiving, he's still making $30,000 a month. So to cover printing charges, printing fees, the image fees, he and the team are, they're doing good for us. I mean, I'd kill for that numbers, right? But you're part of AP. Larry's part of AP, and Ben had a book that, even though he sold the rights to, ended up on Netflix.
Yeah,
right. The Waiting Game, when he did Warrior Nun, that was what, early 90s.
Yeah.
So it was about 30 years plus. Mm-hmm. Before it saw any action on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Can we wait for things to catch up to us, guys?
Well, in a world of streaming where content is everything, they're always looking. They have to be. And Walking Dead and Kirkman are the example, right? That didn't take 30 years. That just was, he was in the right place at the right time with the right people, and he got The Walking Dead sold, and he was off to the races, you know, and it sprung that book. If Invincible had become a TV show while the book was running, it would have sprung too. But it didn't happen until what, I don't know, like 5 or so years after the book was done. But even now, the cartoon hits and people are racing to get the trade paperbacks and stuff. And all the single issues are going crazy in price. And you know, so
it did great for the back. I see this cycle. Excuse me here, fellas. I see this cycle, right? You trigger the back issue market, right? It gets word of mouth going. It kicks up the momentum, and then the creator gets that boost in awareness.
You hope,
right?
You hope.
No,
You hope. No, well,
doesn't always work, but you hope.
Correct. It doesn't always work, right?
The potential is there.
The potential is there. So going back to the question, Ray, excuse me, when I came back from the chat, can independent creators wait for the potential?
I think that's all individual.
Yeah, I think that really depends. Very situational. For me, I'm doing this for fun, essentially. So if this was my day job, I would definitely be approaching this very differently. And I think dynamics like trying to get something like a platform like Netflix to notice me would obviously be a little bit higher in the priority list, of course. But I just want to make a cool book or something that I at least feel it's cool. And on the flip side, I think that's very situational, I should say.
And here's the other thing though. We're just look at what's happening in the theaters right now with things like Obsession and Back Rooms and stuff.
Right.
People are just making their own shit right now.
That's so, what
yeah, that's definitely going to be a door that flies open. Right. People are making movies with their phones. You know what I mean? So making your own shit in order to, that's how Back Rooms happened. In Back Rooms, they were putting on little short movies on YouTube, and then they were like, well, let's do a big budget version of this. Big budget meaning I think that was like $700,000 or something. They made this thing, and now it's $100 million movie.
But they kicked it in, Marvin. They did the legwork in advance, right? They laid that groundwork. They built that foundation, Marvin.
And that's where so before what I was talking about, the comics and the movies, that was the second part about that is that now the studios are going to go after YouTubers for product. But at the same time, you don't have to wait. Like all of these studios are kicking their animators to the curb.
Yeah. So
you can go out there and find an animation team to make you a short animation. Or if you want to,
I'll tell you this: I've been approached by animation people to do stuff.
And games, it's just right there too. If you want to take it, because again, all these developers and stuff are getting kicked to the curb by Sony because Sony is moving to AI. Like there's a bunch of game studios here who have lost contracts with Sony because they're moving to AI. So people are out there waiting to want to do some stuff. So just, hey, do you want to work with me on something?
I'd kill for that. But I was approached also by animation. I don't know what they quoted you, Tom. They quoted me $900 a second. I can't.
No, that's crazy. I can't. That's lunacy right there. It is still very high, but it also depends on the type of animation you're doing too.
Okay.
Because you can do sort of quote unquote lesser animation, simpler movements, and so on at a better price than a lot of like the high end like anime crazy animation.
Right. Mr. Kirkman talks about that in one of the episodes of
Yes, he does.
Yes,
he does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I want
you don't changing the backgrounds or like when you're
covering up their mouths.
Listen, there was an entire episode in Invincible where Invincible and this demon are falling down a hole and their bodies don't move for like 5 minutes. Like the background is moving because they're falling, right? It's just like this repeated.
It's like the old 1950s
but they're just like
background,
like for 5 minutes. Like you can. But also, what's really funny is that goes back to the Invincible book too. In the Invincible comic, there's a scene where he talks to a comic book creator about making comics, and it's like sometimes we use like the same panel over and over again. And just to kind of indicate time or whatever. And Mark's like, isn't that kind of cheap? And it's just like the same panel like twice.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, they did that
Like
on the
that.
show. There's an episode
Yeah,
of the show
yeah,
where
yeah.
he's at a comic
I-
convention.
It's in the I got it. It's somewhere within the first 12 issues.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I've got it in the hardcover, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Talking to Corey Walker, he's bald.
So it's
Yeah.
in the invincible zeitgeist. So yeah.
But that's the commercial aspect of what we're doing.
Right.
Are we trying to be too artistic with our work and not realizing that, hey, maybe there's some panels that we can reuse?
Well,
Right, I mean, but that's-
interesting.
But we don't do that because we're not perfectionists. We want to make something that is digestible too. You don't want to cheat.
Okay.
Because you
don't
feel
wanna
like someone
cheat.
could call you out like, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? I don't like that. Why did you do that?
Okay, fair enough. You don't want to cheat, but Marvin, I know about this because we dove deep into the action figure market. Tom, I don't know how far you went with this, but reusing molds is the key
Yeah.
to making toys, right?
Yeah.
But that's not cheating.
Yeah, but everybody knows that. They do that on the Legends line all the time and stuff. I
Right.
mean, it's the same legs, the same
Yeah.
arms, just with
Right.
new whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
How many-
Frankenstein the parts.
Yeah. How many of the original Joes were the same mold?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Color hair.
But the same thing goes back to the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Scooby-Doo was redone time and time again the same fucking way, bro. How many times did we see him and Shaggy running together from room to room?
Mhm.
Right? That's always
Or
done.
the He-Man toys, it was just the same bodies over and over and over and over.
I mean, shit. In the He-Man movie, if anybody saw it, they made a joke about the He-Man laugh that was constantly reused in the movies. Right? That was
Do
the
they
button that
sing
gave it a
Four
flow.
Non-Blondes in that song? I forgot to ask that last time.
I think they did for non
Yes.
blondes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
That's an internet meme. That's good. That
Yeah.
makes me happy.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's in there.
What's going on?
Yeah,
I
here
love
we
it.
go.
It's in there.
All right, back to the chat for a moment. Burks totally agrees with Fred. All right. And Fred, I met The Rock at a signing when I was 18. I challenged him to a wrestling match. He told me to stay in school and get an education. I didn't listen. If The Rock gives you advice, take it. Way to go, Fred. None was in the 90s when every comic with a female lead couldn't do no wrong.
Sure, but it still
Yeah,
took
it was.
30 years to become a TV show. That's the point.
Right. It still
Yeah.
took 30 years, right? Things are different now. And before Netflix, they're trying to make it an anime when he still owned it. Okay, I didn't know that. And while the trailer was badass, it never flew.
There's lots of stuff from the 90s that tried back in
Yeah.
the day, and just
Wildcats,
never-
Youngblood,
yeah.
right? A lot of
Youngblood,
stuff.
you know.
Lady
Well,
Death.
Wildcats got that one season with that terrible
Yeah.
theme music, but
Oh,
Youngblood.
they did. That's right.
But yeah, Youngblood and Savage Dragon had
Yeah.
at least opening credit scenes and stuff like that.
Right, but what laid the ground for that? X-Men, the X-Men animated
Yeah. Oh
series
yeah.
laid the ground for those things to get made. But it's the same thing now. The MCU and laid the ground for Invincible to do what it needed.
See, and back in the day with Marvel and specifically Marvel, but DC too, and then that grew into things like Masters of the Universe. Is those companies would pay to put their characters in like the Macy's Day parades, shit like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So you'd have Captain America fighting Wolverine and Magneto on a freaking parade. And then they did that with Masters of the Universe. So that that's marketing. Again, that just comes back to you have to put your characters in your book and your thing in front of as many sort of places and
Saturated
eyes
media.
as possible,
Mhm.
even if it's a weird place like freaking Macy's. Let's get a Macy's balloon next time.
On the bottle of hot sauce. Right?
Down a bottle of hot sauce. Way to go, Marvin.
We
All right,
need we need
go
an
back to the
indie
chat.
comics. We need an indie comics parade float in the Macy's Day Parade. That's what we need.
Bro, you're getting the cosplay already. Listen,
Except it's
All
all
right.
just the
you're,
creators
you're
and
ahead
the
of
big
the
fist
you're
fight.
ahead of the curve right now.
Step one.
Uh, Indie creators have no choice but to wait. What else are we going to do? Right? We tried almost every idea in the sun, and yet here we are years later, still having the same talk. Yes,
Well, but now, like we talked about, now there is the opportunity to do it yourself. People are making their own movies. It's not going to be a big budget, crazy thing, but it doesn't mean you can't make a 60-minute movie of your property, whatever your property is, and put it on YouTube and get people interested.
Here we go. Benjamin, thanks for chiming in here, Benjamin. The etiquette of the crowd has killed my love for theater going. Only with the award sleepers in some films, I get lucky and no one is there kicking my seat, talking loud on the phone in front of me. Why pay the price if you can enjoy it without interruption? But that medium and comics are different. Streaming or not, people want a physical copy. I personally ship streaming and go, skip streaming, and go for the blue or the 4K. and I would go for the physical book. It's
I'm
the
gonna-
indie boom society needs. Way to
I'm
be,
gonna,
Benjamin.
I'm gonna give you the movie hack here, Benjamin. You go at fucking 11 in the morning on a Tuesday when they're all in school.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. And welcome in,
Man, the
Mr.
myth, the
Calderon,
legend.
JD. What's up, kid? How we
How you
doing?
doing, guys? I'm sorry. I was I went out.
Ow.
I went, I did the weird thing. I got out in the sunlight, and I walked around and I went to a park with the wife and lost track of time.
Very nice. Spending time with the wife. Good. Listen, I didn't think I was going to make it tonight, but we did. Right. So, chiming in very quickly on the topic: is superhero fatigue real? What do you think?
I was listening to Tom just before I came on, and everything he said was not true. I'm only joking. I don't know what the hell he said, but is super? I don't think so. I mean, I think it all boils down to storytelling and good stories. I mean, if you're telling a good story, I don't think. Listen, growing up, we knew what we grew up on, right? We grew up, we had, Chris Claremont, we had Frank Miller, we had Walter Simonson, we had those guys. But even then, we still had Marvel 2-in-1, right? Which I recently read, and it's just like good, fun comics, right? Like, that's all it is. It's like the old G.I. Joe comics. They're just good, old, fun comics. That's all they are, right? So I don't think, and I mean, even reading something like Invincible, and I read something else he had done, was it Dinosaur Man? Was that
Super Dinosaur.
Super
Yeah.
Dinosaur, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I got the compendium of that, and I think I enjoyed that more than I enjoyed Invincible. And it was just a goofy, fun, really, I mean, really nicely illustrated series of books. So I don't think super to fatigue. I mean, it just I personally, it's all story for me. It's always the same thing for me. My song doesn't change much when it comes down to that. Story. If it's a good story, I think it'll carry over,
Right. It's about executing at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. So what did I miss? Start from the beginning.
Not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. But what we are gonna do is we're gonna show Marvin's book. Marvin launched on Tuesday, and he's already funded, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
Yeah, it funded
man.
Thursday afternoon.
Way to be, Marvin. Way to be. Give us a heads up, brother.
All right, so God's Thunder is volume 3 of The Edge. If you've missed the volume 1 and volume 2, they are available in the Kickstarter. So this story is God's Thunder is an organization that hates people with powers. So they go and get someone with powers because they don't know how to fight, to eliminate anyone with powers who gets in his way. So they end up tussling with this 8-foot monster named Kyra, who carries a hammer that he can throw, but he cannot retrieve.
You throw, but he can't retrieve. Okay.
Well, he can't pull it back to him like a certain character from other.
A lovely golden locked individual.
Yes. So, and also in this book, issue 11, we introduce our band called Bad Fad.
Okay.
With their number 1 hit, I'm just trying to get my life together. I'm actually writing lyrics for the song now.
Now, Marvin, how old are the band members?
They're in their 30s.
Yeah, okay, that's about the age that I guess I hit you. Sure. Because if they were in the 20s, the early 20s, I was like, I don't know, you might want to rethink that. But in their 30s, yeah. Those questions come up.
Yeah. We don't. I mean, if they were in their 20s, they'd be a pop band. And they're not. They wouldn't be a pop. They would be lip syncing and dancing. They don't.
There you go.
Mhm.
So it's collecting issues 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, right, Marvin?
Yes, sir.
My man.
And 14 is a double-sized issue because I couldn't find a really good break because it was originally issue 15 was the end of the story, but I didn't find a good natural break, so I just decided to keep going.
Okay.
So you'll have volumes 1, volume 2, volume 3. Volume 3 does have an exclusive to Kickstarter cover, which will not be used outside of the Kickstarter.
Very cool.
And then issue 14 has that cover exclusive to Kickstarter also.
Very cool.
The original art's already gone. That I did, and I am going to add some more original art because people were asking. So I'll get some more in there.
And this bad boy is part of a special collected trading card set. Isn't that right, Mark?
Yep. So 9-card set. Once all cards are assembled, like Voltron, there is an image on the back side.
Here we go.
That is unlocked and is added to all physical tiers.
So we've already got cards 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 hasn't been released yet. 6 has been released. 7 has been released. 8 and 9 have not been released yet. Correct? Am I right with that, guys?
Sounds right.
Right? So there's 3 more cards waiting to be released, guys. But there's 6 that are available, and the late pledgers are still going for that. So jump on it. Jump on it. And that's your Wham stand?
So we're doing character standees now. So by Wham. That's what it looks like.
Very cool.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
And the hot sauces you were selling in North Carolina are available?
Yes, hot sauce is available through the Kickstarter. Is a habanero blend. It's got a kick, but then you get flavor after the kick. So it's not all heat like other hot sauces that I hate. I hate anything that's really just hot for no reason.
Yeah, I agree with you. So you got
Beyond Insanity.
I like that. So it's available for it's good for wings.
Burger, pizza, bratwurst, stews, dumplings, marinades, soups, and Bloody Marys.
That's what I'm talking about. Bloody Marys right there, baby.
And then there is a poster. So you get the hot sauce, you get the poster of the image that's on the bottle.
Oh, very cool, man.
Oh, that's nice.
Very cool. And you got cafe also?
Yes, sir. It's what is it? Rum? Spiced rum.
Spiced rum. Okay.
So the root beer, I'm trying to figure it out. Because I get a lot of international backers. Can I ship a can of root beer overseas? Probably not.
No, you can't.
Yeah, probably not. So
not even because you couldn't do it like legally. It would like explode,
Right.
in the
And that's my thing.
I'll
I'll
to
probably
go by
add
boat.
it, and then it has to be local pickup. Maybe I don't know. I don't like people ship soda on trucks, but I'm scared to ship it. I don't want anyone to get it and it explodes in their face.
Bro, DHL, USPS, UPS, they toss that shit across the truck.
Right? That's what I'm worried about. Or not even the explode, like the can getting cut and then it leaking.
Yeah.
Would there be an option of depending on like they call them Soda Streamer or you make your own soda? Could you give like the condensed version so they could like carbonate it themselves?
I possibly do that. So the company that makes the soda, Barmy, the way our deal works is that they will make whatever we ask for.
Oh,
so as long as they can get flavoring, they will make it. So I've had ideas on some stuff, and I'm kind of scared to say something because so a few maybe 20 years ago, there was an ice cream company here in Pittsburgh that told people we'll make anything you want into ice cream. That was a mistake because you left a blank box on the website. And people are going to say and do things that makes absolutely no sense. So they were making ground meat ice cream. They were making steak and pork ice cream. And they found out that if you don't clean the filter well enough, something's going to happen with bacteria.
Liver and onion ice cream.
Yes, everything was on the table. Like I saw some of the requests, and I'm like, "Are you like, ew? Why? No one's going to eat that. Why would you even ask for that?"
See, that's like when we have polls now for like, hey, we've got this new police boat, and you get to name it, and everybody's like, call it Boaty McBoatface. Like, stop it.
So they ended up changing it and making it drop down menus with things they approved of. It's because after it was like 3 months they allowed everything under the board. Like they made spaghetti ice cream.
Okay, I'm disgusted. I'm
I'm
sorry.
actually interested in the spaghetti ice cream, and I feel ashamed saying it out loud.
Right. So I have to be smart.
It's got real noodles in it.
Yeah. Oh, it did. Like they just made spaghetti and then put it into the
That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
this is gross.
You're taking me. We gotta
Make some marinara ice cream and put it on a pile of noodles.
Right?
look at it. Oh my god.
Each scoop is a meatball.
I got oh,
Yeah.
I got a in Main Street, Queens. There's a place called Max and Mina's, third generation ice cream place. They make their own ice cream, but they make good ice cream, right? They'll go to the supermarket and they'll buy those specialty cereals, right? The one-offs, the commercial gimmicks, right? Like when they had Smurf berries, they'd make Smurf cereal, right? Things like that, not meatballs and noodle sandwiches. That's just
But that's what happens
How
when
do you?
you open the door and you put a blank box and you say, "We'll do anything you want."
How do you
Don't
upset an
ever do
Italian?
that.
Make
In any situation, you don't give people a freedom of an empty box to
Right.
type it.
all right. Let's hit some of the chat again over here. Some of the anime some of the anime does that, and the community rips that shit apart. So
reusing scenes.
Yeah, reusing the scenes. Yeah. Yes, it's in the movie. And Burks wants to know if Calderon leaves the house.
On occasion. On occasion.
William, not a kick, but an edge.
There you go.
Mhm.
And for those who are ready and want to get down with Marvin's book, the link to that comic book is in the chat. So jump on it. Jump on it. We got 22 people right now watching us live. Please let us know you're in the room. Just say what's up. What we want to know is you're here with us. All right. Dudo, Porterhouse Sunday. Yes, that's bad. That's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple A T-bone.
Yeah. Nasty People Ice Cream. That's true. Unk Podcast. Okay. And I have 3 scoops of smash with some gravy on my Porterhouse Sunday.
Like I said, that if you leave an empty box and you tell people you'll do anything, they are going to test that.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
Because
But,
everyone is
Marvin-
5 years old.
Marvin, you're not the only one with a comic book that's live right now, brother.
Seriously?
Seriously, dude.
For real?
Yes. Folks, I got a book right now that's live as well. And that is The Storm Chasers, volume number 2. We launched it this morning, and we're so close to funding. We're just $58 away from hitting our funding goal. This collects issues number 5, 6, 7, and 8 of The Storm Chasers. This will be a 100-page trade. If you want to check out the Kickstarter, you can find out, why we're making a superhero book, where the money is going, if there's going to be add-ons or not, and I will tell you that there are. If you are a returning backer, you know the deal. You're going to get a free gift. That is a very special Prism trading card that will be added to your reward at no extra charge. And if you back in the first 48 hours, there is a second Holochrome Prism trading card, whatever you want to call it. It's shiny. It's premium. It is sexy. It's zesty. You get that at no extra charge, but you got to get down with it in the first 48 hours. Here is our trading cards. The set is currently at 59 with the ability to expand if we hit certain stretch goals. And there are 10 premium trading cards as well. Here are some of the preview pages. Illustrated by Russ Leach, colored by Mark Summers, written by me, lettered by the missus. All right. Our first stretch goal is a trading card. A second stretch goal is a special 2-page entry to the character guide, but it is digital only. It will not be in print. Then we got another stretch goal, the trading card, another 2-page character guide entry, and then another trading card. More if we get there. But first, we got to fund. You guys know I've been building this brand for a while, so we have other books that are available as add-ons, such as Curse of the Dragonstorm. You can pick up that bundle in digital or print. Same thing with New York versus the World, digital or print, and The Dead Princess Vicky Sticks in both digital and print. Find out who's part of the creative team over here. We got everybody. Wow. Shirts and some original art that went to some of the covers of some of the other books or some of the trading card art as well. So we just launched. This is going to be a quickie. We're going 16 days on this. It's going to be a quick turnaround, and the book after that is going to launch even quicker.
Jay, I got a question.
Yeah, what's up, bro?
That cover of Vicky Sticks, about 3/4 down,
Uh-huh.
is that by chance homage to Evil Dead 2? It's her walking in the background as a giant skeleton. There it is. There, the skeleton skull that kind of gives me the feel of the Evil Dead 2 poster. I was just curious.
Honestly, it's not. There was a Doctor Strange picture. There was a Doctor Strange cover where he is falling into the mouth of a skull, and I was working around with the artist Eric, and I was like, can we do something that elicits that same vibe, but is not that? I like homage covers, but I don't want to do homage covers. So I was going more for that, not for the Evil Dead. But thanks for picking that one up, brother. Thanks for picking that up. It's funny that you are commenting right now because I got to let everybody know. We've been holding this under wraps for a minute. But Ray is going to be doing some work for Unstoppable Comics. Ray is going to be expanding on some of the backstories of some of the characters that appear in Vicky Sticks. Right, Ray?
I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's cute. It's cute, but I hired him first.
Well,
you did.
So you're welcome for that coattail.
So there's some interesting points here. There's some similarities, but there's some contrast too. First and foremost, Tom reached out to me, and he liked how I liked talking about Power Rangers, and he wanted me to expand on the Paranauts, which there's some similarities there, of course. In Jay's scenario, I reached out to him first, and I said, looking at your character Wendy, I live 20 minutes away from where that story took place. I lived there for a handful of years, and with you living in your area and me having experience out in that area, I think there's a cool story for Wendy being in between those two areas. I think we could really churn out something cool. So he liked my terms, and here we are off to the races.
Terms? I didn't. You gave him terms.
Those are all the
That's
terms
amazing.
I gave. Those are all
amazing.
Terms. Those were all.
I was just like, do it. Like, just get it done. What are you waiting for? Hurry up.
Ray, if you need someone to negotiate your contract, just reach out.
That was my negotiation. I said, pick me. And he said, yeah, that was the whole thing.
Ray brings authenticity to the project, and I love the fact that he's expanding on the backstory. So what's going to be happening with Ray is his 8-page stories will be stretch goals, right? They will be digital at first. And once we complete the story, then we'll put it into a printed
Each page
product.
is a stretch goal. So if you only unlock 6, you only get 6 of the story.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Yes. There's a gimmick, baby. We got to make money with this somehow. You know what I'm saying?
You want to know how it ends? I need $2 more grand. Let's go.
Like a streaming service, you gotta unlock the next year to finish that movie.
Back in the chat, here we go. I love to fill an empty box. There we go. So Marvin, he's gonna take you up on that ice cream story. Dan, what up, homies? Happy fucking Friday. What's up, Dan? How we doing, bro? Berts, thanks for putting up back issues of your other books. Rosario, thanks, Berts, for picking up some of those extra issues that I put up, buddy. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. And here we go. Nice. I guess he's commented on Ray joining the Unstoppable family. There'll be more on that next week. Next week, we're going to be doing an Unstoppable only episode. So we're going to only have Unstoppable people here.
Unstoppable only.
That's it. And we'll dive more into that one next week. And then Burks comes back with, hell yeah, Ray writing a Wendigo story. That's right. It's interesting.
So Calderon and Marvin, we're gonna have a show next Friday. You and me, all 3 of us.
Is it going to start at 8 o'clock?
Yeah,
We'll call
8:05.
We'll
We'll start at 8:05.
the Stoppable podcast.
We're gonna turn
Last
it
one
on.
episode.
And Comic Book Streamland is part of the Unstoppable family as well. So in case you didn't know, now you know. Oh, folks, the links to both of those books are in the comments. So jump on them when you get the chance, please. All right. Marvin, how much more time you got left on your book?
A lot. 43 days.
Yeah, 43 days.
3 days.
Okay. Okay. I got 16.
He's gonna have another birthday before that's over.
I'll let it ride. Let it ride.
All right. So before we went into showing the books, guys, we were talking about the constant reboots, right? And how that's affecting some people. But there are properties out there that do reboots on a regular basis. Ninja Turtles reboots approximately every 5 years, right? Power Rangers reboots every year. So how does that counter what you guys were bringing up before? Does it work for them? Should it not work?
Well, in the
That's
Power
very-
Rangers, it's a complete reset, new robots and new outfits and new people and whatever.
within reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like, each
but it's
one,
not-
they all
but-
still exist at the same time.
oh, you're right. Yes, it is a universe. Yes. It's just a refocused. We're going to talk to the dinosaur guys. We're going to talk to the whatever guys, the car guys, whatever. Yeah. Ninja Turtles is interesting because it does reset all the time. But I mean, that's also its history. It was originally a dark comic. It became a Nickelodeon weirdo show, Cowabunga dude, and it was constantly. Its history is reboots. What can it be now? What can it be now? What can it be now? But it always kind of has its foundation of it's the four guys, it's the Rat, it's the Shredder, and here we go with new art style or whatever they want to do. So it is interesting, but I think with the Turtles, it's just that's understood. But you don't really get it doesn't become what would be a good example. It doesn't become something that isn't still what it is, right? It still is 4 Ninja Turtles, generally eating pizza, generally fighting ninjas,
Wait,
generally in New York, generally with a chick that follows them around.
Isn't there 6? Are there 6 turtles now?
That's true. There are more now. Yeah.
I thought it was 5.
No, there's 6. There's the female, and then there's another one. There's the 6th one.
Yeah.
The
The one
bad
with
guy one?
Wolverine claws.
No, he's a turtle. I don't
Are
know.
they still naming them after famous artists?
Yes.
Well, the girl is Venus, right?
Yeah, Venus.
Uh-huh.
I
That's
don't
not
know
one
who
of the
the,
6.
the other guy is. I know he has Wolverine claws for weapons.
Jenica.
Jenica. That's a woman or a male?
They're girls. They're both girls.
So
Jenica
both
and Venus are
girls.
both girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're both female. Okay.
Okay. So, Carol, let me ask you this. Somewhere in the middle of that is property like 007. It started off as a book. They don't produce any more prose for it, right? But they're constantly rebooting the movies. That is something that sits in the middle. How does that apply to what we're talking about tonight?
Well, I mean, I think I prefer Godzilla, but
Okay.
007.
That's an accurate comment.
Right. It's like, but 007 is a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know. How many Ian Fleming novels were there? Was 16 of them?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're way past just adapting the books. Way
Right.
past that.
And it's a matter of like, can they keep it up? Right? Like, it's like anything else. If it's a good movie, it's a good story, it's gonna work. But
Well, in Bond, in that example, he changes for the time. So
right,
Connery in the 60s is nothing like Roger Moore in the 70s and 80s, and then
right.
on
Yeah,
and on
and
and
then-
on. So they reset him in a spy sense, for what they needed to be in that
Generationally sound.
generational. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you'll see the technology change, you'll see all the different gadgets change, and I think that's part of what I miss in the new movies. I think they still had Q. Q was the guy who was making all the stuff?
Yeah. Q
Yeah.
is
He was
but they
always there.
changed him into the younger dude.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as weird and sophisticated as it once was.
Yeah.
I was waiting for them to start injecting him with like nanites and
Well, you know what? That's an interesting point you said there about it being like for the time. I don't think there's a franchise now that could pull off successful cyclical rebooting. Ninja Turtles, James Bond, Godzilla, Power Rangers, they all exist back at a time where it was unique compared to other stuff. It's not like they were rebooting Spider-Man all the time in the 70s, but like those 4 franchises, for example, they're still going from an older era, so it's almost expected. But I can't think of any franchises right now that could pull that off.
Well, I mean, if they ever get for different eras.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Pokemon.
I'm thinking Star Wars if they could pull it together.
Yeah.
Well, is Pokemon all the same universe, or does it like do it?
Pokemon?
Yeah, Marvin, you're mentioning Pokemon.
Yeah, it's all the same. Didn't they think they killed the main guy off eventually, didn't they?
Ash.
And then shifted to a new.
I haven't watched Pokemon in
character for
decades.
I don't think he's dead. I don't remember him dying, but I do remember the story shifting because he won all the badges. Like he became the guy. He
Well,
he
became
did
the
everything.
very best.
Yeah, I saw a clip where he got vaporized or something.
Oh shit! You sure that wasn't just AI? Like someone was hoping he'd
wait.
get vaporized?
You mean James Bond got vaporized, or
No,
the Pokemon guy?
Pokemon.
Pokemon. But
Ash
wait,
filled his
isn't
Pokedex.
Pokemon just expands to new island every time?
Yeah, with new Pokemon.
Yeah,
Right,
but
so
it
there's
used
no
new
reboot.
Pokemon, but it used to be just Ash and Misty and the
And
crew,
Brock.
right?
Yeah.
And then Team Rocket's running around and whatever. But now it's not Ash anymore. He's not the key guy. There's like a new star or whatever.
So is it? But you're saying they disintegrated Ash?
Well, that's what Marvin says.
So they
Well, I was
Ash
looking it
Ash-
up, and apparently it's non-canon, or he was thought to be dead at one point.
Well, I mean, going back to the 007 of it all, it's over, right? The Daniel Craig era is done. They killed him in the last one. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Right.
That was very non-James Bond of them.
There's no right. I don't think
That's the only good part of that movie besides Anna de Armas.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Right,
they're
I
gonna get a
mean,
reboot.
You're going to reboot the character. You want to make them younger, so that's a whole different timeline. Now you're kind of like resetting that, doing new talent, because in the way they've done those movies, James Bond was just the same person. Because you remember in the Pierce Brosnan movies, they showed the jetpack from the Connery movies. So they were saying it was the same person, just with a different face.
Well, that's sort of true and sort of not. There is overlap with that stuff for nostalgia's sake, but in the Daniel Craig movies, in the first one, he was a new agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
that was like the
Craig-
beginnings of his. Even though he had the Aston Martin, they just give that to everybody now.
Right. But you had Judi Dench as M from the previous movies.
That's correct. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Okay.
I think for new younger energy, I vote Patrick Stewart as the new Bond.
With that.
Wow.
But let's look at something that's a bit askew from this. Mad Max, right?
Mhm.
It is, but it's not the same character. So is there a
He
reboot?
says it is.
Yeah.
George
says
Martin.
it is.
He says it is.
Yeah.
I saw a really good fan theory about that, where it's actually the feral kid with the boomerang.
Yeah, but
Road
George
Warrior.
has come on record and said no. It is Max.
Same person.
Well, that's kind of lame. I like the idea of the kid just trying to be like his hero.
Right.
I
like,
agree.
if
I agree. That's a great. If that had been the case, I would have been like, that's
someone
that's
just
really
takes the name and goes and carries on.
Yeah, just trying to be like the thing that inspired him.
But just like with 007, right? The constants were M, Q, the gadgets, Bond, right? Mad
A really
Max,
cool car.
Max, a really cool car, whether it's got its own engine or being led by
Turning into a
camels.
submarine.
Yeah, right.
But what really got me about the Fury Road one is that you're in a world where gas is like very rare. You have to actually go to a gas town, and you've got a guy with a goddamn gas powered guitar shooting flames in the air and doing nothing else. He's like, he has no other job. Play the
That was
guitar.
for religious reasons. It was to make him shiny and chrome.
Yeah. I mean,
He doesn't fight anybody or do anything. He's just playing the guitar. And
But-
shooting
but-
back in the air.
but the thing is though, is like that's to show the what was the guy's name?
Morty and Joe.
Immortan Joe.
Immortal. Yeah,
Immortan Joe is to show you how wealthy
Yeah.
he was, how
Yeah.
powerful
Yeah.
he was, that he could afford to have
I
this
will
guy.
give you a
just do that.
Cadillac.
Yeah, that's
Send
a
you to
real
Valhalla.
Bond villain right there. It's like, oh, there's not that much gas. Look how much I have.
Right. I mean, when he
Watch
turns
how
off
we
the
waste
water, and he
Yeah.
turns off the water, he
He's
says,
got money like that.
it says, "Don't be addicted to water." I was like, you know,
So the constant reboots with these movies show there's no fatigue there, right? Because they're constantly tapping the well. Yet when it comes to comic books and comic book movies, they say it's oversaturated. Where's the disconnect between those two?
Well, there's a difference between oversaturated and fatigue, though, because oversaturated would mean there's too much of it, right? Like with Godzilla and James Bond and stuff, you get these reboots, but you only get like one movie every 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
And it's a slow, oh, there's another one, there's another one. Oh, we're over. We'll get a new design 10 years later. We'll do something else. With these other things, it's like Marvel's pumping out 3 a year, DC's 3 a year, whatever else is happening. So that's the saturation point where it's like there's just too much of this, and I'm going to watch it at home.
Okay.
Well, it's interesting when Power Rangers first came out. By the time they got to season 3, Power Rangers taking footage from the old Japanese Super Sentai show. By season 3, they went through 3 seasons of their Megazords, their giant machines, and everybody was starting to see the reused stock footage. They were starting to see that like nothing added up. We have brand new robots, and the city looks different as well. And kids started to like, me personally, I'm just like, this does not fit right. And I didn't understand what was going on behind the scenes. But by season 4, they bit the bullet and changed the costumes, powers, and everything. And that way they could make all of their Western filming more like the stock footage that they're using.
Was that after they did the movie? Was that
so the movie came out between season 2 and season 3, and it's not even canon. So I think that very much shot itself in the foot on top of everything else.
Which
but
movie
by
is the
season Power Rangers, the first movie from '95, but like season 4 of Power Rangers, when they redid everything, they called it Power Rangers Zeo. It was a breath of fresh air, and it still was a continuation. And there's a whole bunch of cool stuff. But from that point moving forward, they decided to follow Super Sentai steps. Every year, we're going to switch it up. So at the beginning, kids were kind of disappointed, but it's stood the test of time. And from what they had in season 3 with that fatigue, very similar to what we're talking about now they've stood the test of time, and it's got this very dedicated fan base, and they really look forward. Let's see what this fall is going to look like. What's the theme of the powers? What's this? What's that? What's everything else? It's kind of like a more condensed scale of what Ninja Turtles does, but it's annually.
So they're already prepping for 2 seasons down the road once they release this season.
Yes, but here's the kicker. Super Sentai has finally decided to discontinue the franchise 49 years into it. So Power Rangers that used to thrive off of all of their stock footage, now they have to make some very serious decisions in regards to what they're going to be doing with all of their action and even the themes. It's all up to them now. Can they match the quality that was being produced in Japan? And we'll see where that new chapter goes. I agree with Tom. I have a lot of concern. We'll put it that way.
I mean, look what they did with the reboot movie. I mean, that was like, what are we doing? That was
atrocious.
That was a
What reboot movie? The Power Rangers movie?
Well, yeah, when they did that in '95, it was supposed to launch.
No, the one that was more recent.
Oh yeah, that was garbage. Yeah, that was. You know how like nobody was happy when they first saw Michael Bay's Transformers, all the excessive detail and didn't have the plating. That was pretty much all the Megazords in the new Power Rangers reboot.
Well, but there weren't even Megazords until like the last 20 minutes. Like it was basically,
they kind of just like fall on each other, and now they're a giant robot.
Yeah, it was like the Breakfast Club Rangers. That movie. Like, what are we doing?
I like the opening, and then I turned it off.
Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting thought process, like making Rita the Green Ranger.
Yeah,
that's why she had the coin. I thought that was neat, but overall, there's a certain je ne sais quoi about how the stories are approached and the quality of the action and stuff in the Super Sentai universe, where they just can't seem to get that right on the Power Ranger side.
Okay. All right. Let me chime in with some of the chat over here. All right. Burks, you can't stop these comics podcasts. Way to be. Thank you, Burks.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable. If people pop, they pop. I don't care how many WW stories they have. I'm in. All right. Jenica and Venus, right? She's a
That's
female.
the Turtles.
007 007 great game just dropped too, called First Light. David plays and collects. Hello, new to the channel, came here after seeing the title. This is a fascinating subject. Is superhero fatigue real? No. Consumption is optional. I think oversaturation is a better term. Thanks for chiming in, David. And thanks for the Ben Riley sweater on the picture, bud. Way to be. Vaporize, as in spoilers? I don't know. We don't.
Ash Ketchum.
Yeah. Young Bond being played in the new game by a young Dexter actor. Okay. This generation's James Bond is going to be Timothy Chalamet.
Somebody call Tanya Harding. We can take care of that problem. Real quick.
Wow. That's a hell of a pull, buddy. The flaming guitar is like the trumpet in the military.
He's a battle bard. Yeah, he's a bard.
They actually started making their own costumes for a bit in regards to Power Rangers, I bet. And Sentai isn't ending; it's just hibernating.
I'll agree with that. That makes sense. They can make a really big. This is our 50th season thing. Yeah, I agree with that.
So I like what Burks is saying here. Let me chime in. Let me capitalize on that. Do certain superhero products, whether it's comic books or movies, need to hibernate as opposed to being rebooted?
Wolverine. Harley Quinn.
Okay.
But the reboot is how you make the money.
Mm-hmm.
Hibernation, you don't make money. You know, the closest thing we got to anything like that is like when Superman died. He was dead for like a year, and they let Supergirl and all the other stuff run wild for a while, and then they brought him back. So he kind of pseudo hibernated, but the books never stopped. They just kept putting different characters in the leads. So,
right.
You know, you can't make that market share that we talked about if you're hibernating your characters.
Right. Didn't they kill Jean Grey off for like 10 years or so? She was dead for 10 years.
It wasn't that long. But it was a number of years before they brought her back in the Fantastic Four. Yeah.
Well, Thor, he was shut down for a long time there in the early 2000s.
About 3 years.
But again, he was replaced by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it may not be the Thor, but you still have
the franchise Thor. Is still going.
The franchise still exists. Yeah. To
Oh,
me, hibernation would be we're not doing Wolverine stories or books for 3 years. That would be a hibernation, but that's not going to happen.
So, Cal Norrell, do you think hibernation would work does hibernation work if when it returns, they recoup all that money that they didn't make in that time off?
Right. See, the thing is I think hibernation is good because we're talking about like high-end IPs, these big companies, Disney, right? So Star Wars, I think, would be one of the best examples. Is that we know what's been going on. It's been mid for a while at its best, right? Like it's some of it is good, and then some of it is like, and then it's all over the place. But I think to let it hibernate, but try to find the people who really need to be there to bring back that Star Wars that everyone would enjoy, right? And I think that's the hard part, is finding that talent to do that. And I mean, if you can hibernate it and then bring that talent on and make great films, they're going to recoup all that money. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be 20 times the amount, because we know Star Wars, the movies, I'm pretty sure only account for 20% of what's going on, because the rest of it is toys, t-shirts, and everything else, every other piece of merchandise that they can squeeze out of it, right? And when the stuff is mid, nobody buys the merchandise, right? So,
right, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, right? You just give it enough time to marinate, and it'll make money for you. Like William over here saying that ROM is with Skybound. How's that for hibernation? I saw that ROM 1 was coming out, and I'm in the store and I'm looking for it. I went to 2 different stores. It wasn't until the second one that I found out it wasn't a brand new story from ROM. It was a reprint that was hidden in one of the blind bags that came out last week. I think it was Mask or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was kind of pissed off at that. I'm not going to look for a book that I already have somewhere in the collection, but I am psyched knowing that it is coming back. With it.
What about Torok and Magnus Robot Fighter?
Not
And,
so much.
and Solar.
Solar, yeah.
So
Not so.
I think
much.
of the 3 of those, the only one that's viable is Turok. It's the only one that's viable.
He had a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's just an interesting character.
Okay.
You know, I just think he's an interesting character. I don't find Robot Fighter to be engaging in 2026.
Right.
I don't find
well,
Man
we
of the
might-
Atom to be engaging in 2026.
well, we might need a robot fighter real soon because they're going to be taking over our jobs.
If it's Magnus Robot Fighter versus AI, robots from like I Am Legend, not I Am Legend. What's the robot one? iRobot.
I robot.
Then yeah, then
Same
we
Will
can-
Smith,
Same,
same
yeah.
comedian slapper.
Right. That's interesting. That's interesting how he's he's needed now more than ever. But that's it, right? It's hibernation. Hibernation works. Not the
I
constant.
think it can work, but especially nowadays,
Mhm.
if you hibernate for too long, you get people. Then when you do announce it, oh, there's a new whatever. People are like, oh, it's going to suck, or they better do it right, or because now these fools have had 5 years to put in their brain of what they want to happen, what they think should happen, and then they're like, oh, I don't like that director, I don't like that actor, I don't like that. So I don't think you can win anymore. And I think that's why a lot of what we see is just simply put it out, make what you make, move on to the next thing. And occasionally you hit a vein like Absolute that works really well. And they milk the hell out of that for as long as they can milk the hell out of that. And then they'll have to find something else eventually.
So something like okay, Ray.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I have a possible solution, but again, this is conceptual. Practically, I don't know if you could ever pull this off, but anytime in industry, if you're running any type of equipment, say you make something for a factory, there's wear and tear, no different than putting oil in your vehicle or rotating your tires. You need a time where you have scheduled maintenance. So if you have something running all year long and twice a month you have to shut down the machine for a week and make sure everything's still running well, I think a lot of these franchises would benefit huge for not necessarily a hibernation, but a scheduled time. Okay, it's going to go from this time to this time. It will be back again. And then even if that's 2 months hiatus or whatever the case is, I think that would be very beneficial.
Okay. So Marvin, let me ask you this, bud.
Mhm.
Star Trek is now in that rotation, right?
Yeah.
There's not going to be any new Star Trek property or main Star Trek for a minute, for the first time in what? Since the 90s?
Yeah. Whoa, knows.
Since
you had-
Generation, right? Generation.
Since
Deep
the
Space
end
Nine.
of Voyager.
So, right, but there was a gap between Deep Space Nine and Voyager.
No,
Oh, there was a gap between Voyager and the new movies.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All
Yeah,
right,
about
so
5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
but in recent memory, you had the Picard series, you had the cartoon, right? You had the
Well, they've been pumping out
Future
stuff
series?
since Discovery, like almost 10 years ago.
right.
So yeah,
Mhm.
So, do you think that the higher ups over there at Paramount see the writing on the wall and say, "Hey, we got to put this to bed for a little bit," or are they doing that for a different reason?
I think you're looking at the body of work, and if people are figuring out that the body of work isn't very good in a ratings tank, you're going to say get it off the air because no one wants to watch it right now. So you take a
You
break,
want to quit when you're ahead.
bring it back, and then all of a sudden people start missing it. So you have to wait for people to start missing that thing, and then you bring it back. But how do you bring it back though? Like, are you going to bring back Kirk and Spock and all those guys again? Because you're kind of you're leaving yourself with no room to move forward. Like they should have did a Worf show a long time ago, and they had momentum from Picard, and you kind of dropped that and said like we're not going to go forward with this with like was it 7 of 9 as the captain on a series.
Yeah.
Or you had
the SS Titan.
Yeah, you had the Janeway thing in the pipeline, and you kind of didn't go that way. But so
Picard's Kid and Q doing their own thing.
how do you where do you once you decide to come back after 5, 6, 10 years or whatever, where do you start? They're kind of in a position where they don't know where to go.
There's a sweet spot, and it's obvious they've gone past that window.
Well, and their
window
thought
is.
process was just keep going into the future. That's where this academy, Starfleet Academy, just went batshit into the future. But it was such a fucking terrible show that.
Well, I mean, I think you missed the boat with Starfleet Academy back in Next Generation, because that was supposed to be a spinoff of Next Generation was Starfleet Academy.
Yeah, and you could drive that with Wesley. You could have had a character that moved over there, and you could have had it done. Yeah.
What wasn't there a show with Michelle? Was it Michelle Yeoh?
Yeah.
Was that
Section
any
32 or something? I never saw it. It got ripped apart.
Star Trek
Oh,
31.
really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I never saw it.
That's the one
Yeah,
where
it was-
Michelle Yeoh was Spock's sister or something like that.
Right, but if you remember, it was Section 31. So if you remember Section 31 from Deep Space Nine, they were the background, the guys in the background who were doing all the dirty work.
They were Men in Black.
yeah,
They were Black Ops, right?
yeah, where Starfleet was supposed to know what they were doing.
Mhm.
Okay. Wow, I don't remember that from Deep Space Nine.
Starfleet CIA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Section 31 goes all the way back to the original series.
Oh. Okay.
So I mean, and again, you had something there you could have built from where like a Black Ops Star Trek show.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know what their plan was, but it kind of exploded in their face.
Well, Section 31 happened when Discovery was happening. Discovery was failing.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, that's done. And then they were focusing on the only thing that's really, truly kind of worked was Strange New Worlds, the Pike show. People were genuinely, and even I came to that show just late, and I watched the first, I don't know, whatever, 3 seasons or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
4th season, I guess, is coming soon. But even in that, the 5th season is not going to be a full season. It's going to be like 6 episodes and be done.
Want to get it over with.
I hope it gets a good finale.
Yeah.
Burks wants to know what about Enterprise? When did
So
that
what
show?
he's saying is that was after Voyager, but after
Yeah.
Enterprise, there were that window and then the movies.
I thought
That's-
Voyager.
Enterprise. Which
Further.
one was Enterprise? Who was the captain? Was
Enterprise
that
was Scott Bakula.
The
right?
Quantum Leap guy.
That one ran 3
Yeah.
seasons, and then a 9/11 happened, and everything kind of went.
Yeah, because it's funny. I couldn't watch like the first season. I tried watching. I couldn't do it. But everybody said the last season was really good, and I watched that, and the last season was really good.
Yeah, the last season with the time war and all of that, it's insane. The first season is unwatchable,
Okay.
unwatchable. Yeah, second season's
Enterprise?
better. It's okay, but then when you do the final, it's a terrible finale. Like the final episode is batshit.
Right.
But
Now
Yeah,
that,
so-
that-
Good.
Like they were going back in time. Is that the one where they did the thing with the no? Like they had they had the little trilobite thing.
they were going forward and back all the time. Like they went forward
Right.
and they saw like the Enterprise J, and it was some crazy,
Right.
fucking weird ship and stuff. Yeah, so they were moving back and forth through time all the time.
Okay. All right. And William says they turned the series into a movie, not going to end well.
Much
Kinda
like The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
Star Trek wasn't serious; it became a movie.
Star Trek was a series that became a movie. That's right.
but the show was done by that point, by quite a few
Oh,
The
years.
show was
long.
canceled. The show
Yes,
was
It
canceled.
was canceled.
Right.
Yeah. The movie came along like what 20 years later almost?
And that was
15
because
years
of
later?
What was because Star Wars was what by sci-fi back, and then they
Star Wars helped to give it a boost,
Yeah.
but it was Star Trek succeeded in syndication because it was just running as reruns,
Mhm.
all through the 70s, and then sci-fi started happening, and they were like, "Oh, well, we got a thing sitting on the shelf. Let's do that."
So what about the Stargate show that Amazon pulled the plug?
Oh, I don't care. I don't care. I like the movie, and I would have, and that was originally going to be a trilogy.
was awesome.
So I'm kind of bummed that they never got that chance to just do that. But I never liked the show, so I shed no tears.
The show went on. The show
It
went
did.
on.
It did.
Yeah.
We won it for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
how many spin-off? They had like 2 spin-offs.
Yeah.
they did. I felt like that and Babylon 5 carried UPN's whole science fiction division,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Babylon 5. Oof. Oof.
It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it
It's, what it is not good.
is. So on a day
not
where
good.
on a day where two superhero series are focused on Kickstarters, both Marvin's and mine.
And next year,
Oh,
You go.
Creator.
Yeah.
Way to go! That's right. You got a full critter lineup coming.
full slate next year. Yeah, full slate, including this guy,
Look at
Hashtag Paranauts.
including that guy.
that. Look
yeah.
at that. Way to be. Way to be.
Mhm.
Burke says UPN. Haha.
Mhm.
We're gonna get out of here, but in a second, before we get out of here, I want to say that the Storm Chaser Volume 2 is officially funded.
So we can do a half hour more. Top 5 Star Trek moments.
You want to do top 5 Star Trek moments? We can do top 5 Star Trek moments. I got no problem doing top 5 Star Trek moments. But before we get to your top 5 Star Trek moments,
Yeah.
I want to say that these are the cards that the returning backers are getting. I forgot to show this earlier, right? Let me put a single here. All right. So this is the returning backer Prism card.
That's
All right.
pretty.
It's going to be shipped in this acrylic top loader. All right. And it shows the team going in for action, baby. I love it. It's illustrated by Russ Leach. And then here is the early bird special card for the first 48 hours. And it shows the current lineup in the second volume taking center stage. And it is illustrated by the artist known as Granda, who's done work for us before. And this is only available in the first 48 hours. All you got to do is back the campaign, and you get this one for free before Sunday. And if you're a returning backer, that's how you get the other one. But they are available for those who want them. You just got to buy them. You got to spend your money on them.
Give
All
me
right.
that money.
Spend that. But here we go. William, we're not going to be spinning the wheel because Tom called it out. Top 5 Star Trek moments. I got to say, I'm weak on Star Trek, but I'm ready to rock and roll with this. Who wants to go first?
I'm sure I can come up with a 5th, but I got 4. So I'm going to give you 4, and then I'm going to see if a 5th will pop in there.
Okay.
So this is a light one, but this is very Star Trek for me, and I loved it. It's in the first movie when they get to V'ger and find out that it's actually Voyager. Like, I loved that moment as a
That's
kid.
cool.
I was like, "Oh, that's fucking cool, man!" I nerded out on that. What is Star Trek 3? I never would have imagined they would blow up the Enterprise. That was wild. So I love that. In Next Generation, again, I would have not expected Picard to get turned into Locutus. So that cliffhanger of, where he's doing we are Borg. It's resistance is futile. That was great. I love that. And then for sure, I think one of the best scenes in Star Trek is just Spock's death, where he saves the Enterprise, and you get that whole scene, and then Khan, and like, that's earlier, but you get that whole thing where it's the many and the few and all that. That was such a great scene. I don't remember as a kid ever having seen a scene quite like that before, where like your leads are dying. So it was sort of like when the Transformers movie happened and they were like off in Transformers. I was like, yo, we're not supposed to be dying. What the hell's going on? So yeah, that was an intense moment back in the day.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
I got you.
Let's go.
So it's just not just the best moments, but like the best things from Star Trek. The Dominion War from Deep Space Nine. The Section 31 dosing up all the founders with that disease that was killing them all.
Okay.
The part in I can't remember which one. Oh, I had it in my head. I can't remember what it was. The scenes when they reused the scene of the bird of prey being destroyed in one of the movies, they used in Star Trek 3. They reused the same scene in another movie later.
In Star Trek 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then why does God need a starship?
Yeah, no, I just got any starship. It's good. It's good. It's the only moment of that movie that is like of any use. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
All right. Ray, Calderon, either one of you ready?
I've got one.
Let's go.
I
You need 5, baby. Not 1. You need 5.
I've got 5. I have
All
one list of
right.
5 to clarify. These ones are in no particular order, and some of them were taken, so I'm just cycling through the first things on my mind. Voyager's Return Home. Loved that episode. At the end, that was like big payoff. I enjoyed it. First appearance of the Borg, where Q is like, check these space zombies out. That was terrifying for concept. In Star Trek Picard, I liked everything that was done with Worf. Worf was, I loved how his character was evolved, where he seemed to have integrated both who he is and how he was brought up and what his lineage was. He seemed to have that. He seemed to figure himself out. I really appreciated that. The episode in Star Trek The Next Generation called Identity Crisis. That's where Geordi turns into that veiny alien thing. When I was a kid, that just left a big impact on me. And the last one, although the reboot movies of Star Trek aren't that huge, I do like the idea of Spock versus Khan by reversing the roles and killing off Picard, or Kirk, rather. Okay. I did like the concept of exploring that fight.
Into Darkness is a wildly underrated movie.
But yeah, those are my 5.
Okay, I like that. All right. Calderon, you're up.
All right. Tom took a couple of my answers, like the Locutus of Borg one. But some of my favorites is the introduction of the Tribbles.
Yep.
Lucille Ball producing Star Trek.
Okay.
Bringing it to life.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to Wrath of Khan. When Chekhov and his captain are first on the Botany Bay, and him finding out, and him standing there going Botany Bay, and then he finds out that it's that ship. So I thought that was really cool.
What ship? I'm sorry.
The Botany Bay.
No, I'm not. I'm not familiar.
That's from Wrath of Khan. Like that's like he knew like that was their ship, but like he had to like recall it. And he was like, like, what, like, where you find a name and you're like, where's that from? Where's that from? Gotcha. And then Khan pops out and like terrified,
Yeah.
The sheer terror struck him. He was just like, oh, we're screwed.
Okay.
Carl Urban as Leonard McCoy.
Really?
Yeah, I really like Carl Urban as an actor in general. But yeah, I liked him as.
Yeah, he was great in those movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's all I got. And Kirk screaming, Khan.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites.
Okay. Yeah, I knew I'd have a data one. I'd have to figure this out. This is my 5th one. So there's some really great data moments, but I love the one where they were playing that weird game with the alien guy, and Data kept losing all the time, and then Picard tells him it's possible to make all the right moves and still not win. Like that's a powerful statement. But Data thought he was broken because he couldn't win the game. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm with that. All right. Here's my 5. I'm gonna go with the whales in Star Trek 4. That was the first Star Trek movie I saw in the theater, and I was just like, okay, you know what I mean? But what happened with the lady? I mean, were there any like missing persons posters? You know, from a
We don't talk about that stuff in Star Trek.
What I'm saying.
We don't talk about
rectify that
paradoxes. No.
when she was in the future. I'm gonna go with the Star Trek cartoon, Filmation cartoon, because that's the first time I saw an alien. It was a bird alien that was not just a humanoid figure, right? So the cartoon was able to
Expand.
Go where no one has gone before.
Yes.
Yes. You guys said that you weren't happy with the whole the reboot ones, right? The Chris Pine ones, but I really liked Chris Hemsworth's sacrifice.
Yeah.
Kirk's dad. Yeah.
That
That to me, I will tell you, that is one of the best opening 10 minutes of any film ever.
Mhm.
that was
Yeah, I agree.
that was awesome. That was awesome.
How he just accepted it, that was
Mhm.
his responsibility, and he accepted that's how it was going to go.
And he wasn't
Yeah, I
the captain,
get you.
right? He was just one of the people on the bridge.
Well, he was
Yes.
acting captain because captain got killed. He was
Yes.
first officer, so yeah.
Yeah, he just this is my role. I accept. Please, just don't name the kid Jim.
Don't name him Tiberius. Yeah.
Yeah, Tiberius. That's right.
There you go. Much like Calderon's behind the scenes thing with Desilu, I am psyched with the backstory of how the transporter was created to save money. Right? That's how they were getting to the planet.
Oh, I thought you meant literally in universe. They were like making. I was like, no, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. They couldn't show the ship. They spent too much money making a ship that was too small for them, right? So they just said, "Fuck it," They beamed to the Earth. So I like that.
That's good.
And my favorite Star Trek moment of all time goes to Deep Space Nine, Season 2, Episode 1. Avery Brooks shaves his head and brings back the goatee. Because the full head of hair was not working for Mr. Brooks on Season 1. When you go from A Man Called Hawk from Spencer for Hire to that and a full head of hair, it's like, how do you go from badass motherfucker to this? It was just like, and then when he shaved his head, it was like, it's on. The badass motherfucker is back, and he's the one running the goddamn station. Let's go. Side note: anytime Picard and Whoopi shared a heart to heart, having a drink, that was cool. So, yeah, good call for top.
So with Whoopi and him, like they were always implied that were they lovers at one point? Like it always seemed like implication.
Guinan was an old soul, and she was a lot older than Picard. So, for Picard's age, he could confide in her in wisdom, if that made sense.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, it was also implied that they may have been lovers at one point. When they, when Picard was younger, obviously she was, always the age as she was, right?
Except in Star Trek Picard, where now she can choose to age if she wants to.
Right. Yeah. No, I was just curious. I didn't know if anybody knew.
I thought she was like
Not
Jadzia Dax.
Dax was cool.
The immortal, but like a parasite at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Dax is the immortal thing. Jadzia is just the body, and Jadzia, she's
the
just
host.
a normal person. She'd die, and that's why the little bug had to keep moving from body to body.
she dies.
Yeah.
Ah,
In the final
didn't know
season,
that?
there's a whole new Dax in the final season.
You didn't know that?
no.
Yeah,
Is that why she went to go do fucking
Tom,
Hellraiser?
She wasn't getting paid enough, so she was like, "See ya."
Oh,
And,
really?
Well,
but
she
that's
wanted-
but that's
she
the
wanted to do
trill.
part-time.
Yeah,
She wanted
but
to do part-time.
the trill is the little bug inside her.
Thing
That's the
inside her.
immortal thing.
That's
So
Dax.
if Jadzia dies and Dax is in her, it will die too.
Yeah.
That's why they have the transfer ceremony where they're like, okay, we're going to get the bug out and put it into another body.
Does the person that becomes the host get to pick?
There's some sort of a. Oh, you mean does the bug get to pick who the host is?
No, does
Or-
the host say, yeah, sure, I'll
Does the
take
host
Oh
a
yes,
volunteer?
it's like an honor thing. It's like, yes,
Yeah.
I'm honored to take on this role. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
remember
yes,
this
yes.
generation, remember they put the bug in record because they had a troll on board and he got injured.
Does he die when they took him out?
No, he's alive, but he has to go back into a trill because they have the right chemistry or whatever. So
It was making him sick.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Before we get out of here, let's check out the chat. Pat Oswald and Doug the Vulcan, who's obsessed with Earth culture on Strange New Worlds. Laugh so damn
That
hard.
was I don't like him, but that was pretty good.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
When Murdoch from the A-Team appears as Lieutenant Barkley.
Barkley
Yes.
isn't that one thing I want to say real quick about Barkley. One of the coolest things I liked watching him be all socially awkward and stuff was Picard saying, "Why can't we find ways to integrate these people?" I think that's why shows like Discovery failed, because now it's like that person's a loser, I want them out kind of attitude. Where there it was like, Picard, let's work with what we have. I'll shut my mouth now.
Oh, I get it. It's like, wait, is it like Carl Meany going from Star Trek to Deep Space Nine?
I need to be reminded who that is.
That's the engineer, the mechanic.
O'Brien.
Yeah.
O'Brien. Oh yeah, Lieutenant O'Brien. Yeah, I
Chief
O'Brien
O'Brien
was like,
he wasn't enlisted. He wasn't enlisted, man.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, but Barkley was like, everybody just wanted to get rid of him, made fun of him, and Picard was like, we're not going to be doing that anymore. You know, I just like that a lot.
Okay, the cast wise. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant like a background character becoming so popular. They said, okay, let's give him more screen time on the other show.
No, Barkley was like social anxiety and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And William says Dax makes an appearance in Starfleet Academy in a way. Okay. All right. Guys, we went over the hour and a half mark. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Before we get out of here, let's find out where people can find you. Starting with Ray.
You can find me on Instagram as Raymond the DM, and you can also find me on Facebook as DM Ray, Dungeon Master Extraordinaire.
All right. Calderon, where can they find you?
Sunday night on the YouTubes. I think Tom will be there. Jay, you're taking the weekend off, right? And we'll have other people. And next Friday, I'll be launching Dreamweavers #3 on Kickstarter.
All right.
So,
Tom, where can they find you, kid?
BigDogInc.com. Get your books. We're in the process of fulfilling 3 campaigns right now, so watch your mailboxes. And then we'll be back after San Diego Comic-Con for the next Legend of Oz installment in early August. But I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con with the AP crew, Antarctic Press. I'll be at their booth. We'll have some Critter exclusives and merch and all kinds of cool stuff.
Nice. Marvin, let them know.
Comicsburg.com and the edgecomic.com. The socials are there. And on Kickstarter for the next 41 days, where I'll be bugging people like it's my job.
There you go, kid. Waiting long enough, you're gonna take that time, baby. You're gonna take that time. Spread that mother. All right. And you can find me at unstoppablecomics.com. And for the next 16 days on Kickstarter with Storm Chasers Volume #2. And aside from that, here's all the other places where you can find us. Thank you very much. If you had a good time hanging out with us tonight, please hit those like, subscribe, and share buttons. All right. It's just going to help us grow and let people know that you had a good time. They can join us too. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
good night.
Peace.